Anyone who likes making videos prefers to have their good camera with them to give the best possible footage. However, there are times when bringing your camera back and camera just isn't worth it. For these moments, the DJI Osmo Pocket is the perfect temporary replacement, and can even be a great addition alongside your bigger camera. The DJI Osmo Pocket has been released for a while, but it doesn't mean that this little camera isn't worth your attention. There are times that I have my camera with me, but for certain shots I prefer to take out my Osmo Pocket, as it can give great results when used correctly. In addition, the prices of the Osmo Pocket have recently been dropped to $279. The DJI Osmo Pocket can shoot up to 4K 60fps, has a small gimbal with quick startup time, and is packed with software features such as face tracking, time-lapse videos, moving time-lapse videos, and even has a hyperlapse function. The practicality of the Osmo Pocket is what really sets it apart. Just look how tiny it is. Even when placed inside this case, it fits into your pocket perfectly and doesn't feel as bulky as some action cameras. It is very quick to take out the camera out of your pocket and start filming, which is exactly why I love bringing the DJI Osmo Pocket. In addition, since the charging port is USB-C, you don't have to bring an extra charger when going to a trip, as you can charge your camera with the same charger as your phone. Of course, if you own an iPhone, then you may need to bring an adapter. You may think that the display is a little small for framing, and while I do agree that it could be a little bigger, having a bigger display means that the device will get bigger as well, and thus making the camera less portable. The cool thing is, if you need a bigger viewfinder, you can actually connect it to your smartphone. Connecting the DJI Osmo Pocket to your smartphone only takes seconds. You flip over the slot, pop in your smartphone, and you're ready to go. It is super simple and very helpful, as it will give you a bigger viewfinder, a histogram, make it easier to navigate settings, review footage, and so on. Now let's talk about all the features the DJI Osmo Pocket has to offer. With starting at the top of the list, taking photos. The Osmo Pocket can take up to 12 megapixel pictures with a maximum resolution of 4000 to 3000 pixels. Since it has the ability to take RAW, I am pretty satisfied with the quality of photos it can produce. Next up is video. As mentioned previously, the Osmo Pocket can film up to 4K in 60fps. Just remember that since you're working with a limited bitrate, the quality of 4K 60fps is a bit worse compared to the 4K 24fps. Of course, I think most people will not notice the difference. The video footage of the Osmo Pocket is pretty good and can be very good when slightly cleaning it up in post. I do wish it had a D-Log color profile just as the Mavic Pro 2, so you can get the most out of your color grading. You can also turn the gimbal around and enable face tracking. This will make vlogging really easy. However, it is important to note that any tracking feature isn't available in 4K 60fps, most likely because of the limitations of the small processor. The Osmo Pocket can also film in slow motion, but for some reason it won't use the whole camera sensor and it will look cropped compared to the normal video mode. This again is most likely because of the small processor in this camera, and thus is in my opinion not really usable. Now for the time-lapse features. You can take traditional time-lapses and have the ability to choose between interval and duration settings. When taking a time-lapse, the DJI Osmo Pocket will create a video file, and in addition to that will also store all individual pictures. I do recommend creating your own video from all the individual photos, as the quality will be way better. I do wish it would store raw photos to increase the quality even further and give you more flexibility in posts, but however that function is not available. Because of the form factor of the DJI Osmo Pocket, you can simply place it anywhere you want and it won't fall over as long as there's no strong wind. The motion time-lapse has the same option as the normal time-lapse, but the difference is that you can set a starting point and an ending point, which makes the camera pan slowly while the time-lapse is in progress. Make sure to move the gimbal head when selecting your points, as moving the body itself will not help. The hyperlapse function is maybe the most disappointing feature for me, and it's not because of its functionality, it really works great, but mostly because of the quality. You can select an object that you want an hyperlapse of, and it will automatically keep its center while walking. This feature makes it super easy to make hyperlapses, but it comes with a big catch. Unlike the other two time-lapse modes, in hyperlapse, the Osmo Pocket will not keep individual photos, and thus you cannot create the highest possible video quality. And last but not least, automatic panorama photos. Gone are the days of slowly panning your phone in order to get a nice panoramic photo. All you have to do is keep the Osmo Pocket upright, click the record button, and a second or two later you will have your panorama picture ready to be uploaded. The Osmo Pocket will also store individual RAW photos so you can stitch it up yourself at home and get really great results. I recommend the following settings to get the best possible result. First of all, you'll have to activate the Camera Pro settings by tapping on the Pro icon within the main settings navigation. When that is done, tap the camera icon to open the Camera Pro settings. First, you should set the color profile to Cinema D so you can get a flatter image to make color grading slightly easier. The second option you should change is the exposure. By default, this option is an automatic, and this will mean that the camera will adjust the shutter speed and ISO depending on your scene. In daylight, he will usually do a pretty good job. However, when it gets darker, it will sometimes really crank up the ISO way too high, which gives very grainy footage. You can also fix some of the grain in post, but it won't look as good. I also recommend uncropping the viewfinder. You lose some of the display, but when filling the display up to a square, you will lose partly of the video and thus have trouble framing. To make the footage smoother and more professional, you should also change the follow mode to slow. And that should be the most optimal settings to get the most out of your DJI Osmo Pocket. All in all, this is a great little camera and I'm very satisfied with the features and video quality it can produce. It does of course have some limitations due to its small processor and smaller sensor size. However, with a price of $279, you're getting a great deal. You could wait for the Osmo Pocket 2, which will most likely get rid of all the limitations, but until now the DJI Pocket 2 hasn't even been announced, and it wouldn't go on sale for the same price. So in my opinion, it is now a great time to get this little camera. If you want to see more reviews, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It would also mean the world to me if you could take a look to our new website, wheretobuy.net, where you can compare any gadget with metascores fetched from thousands of reviewers, and even rate the gadget yourself. We've been working on this project for a very long time and really hope it can be useful for you guys. Thanks for watching and stay tuned until the next review.